And we welcome you to Mid-County Bowling Lanes in Middletown, Delaware for coverage of the PBA East Region Appletree Classic. Sean Green alongside Len Holmquist. Len, the fourth year for the Appletree Classic here in Delaware in one of our most competitive fields, and we have an outstanding group of four getting set for tonight's finals.
Yes, we do, and this actually, Sean, is the second year that Appletree Answering Service, Wilmington-based Appletree Answering Service, has sponsored this event, but it is the fourth year that Mid-County has hosted an event. If you go back to the start, it was David Canese out of Annapolis, Maryland. He won year one. Then Danny Weissman, not too far away from Baltimore, he won the second year. Last year, first event sponsored by Appletree Answering Service, the Appletree Classic, it was Dick Allen from Columbia, South Carolina. He went home with the money, and it was the richest single payday in PBA regional history, $10,000 out of a prize fund last year of over $54,000.
We had a very strong field, as we mentioned. Some of the bowlers who didn't even make the Final Four, some very familiar names. Patrick Allen, who's won on the national tour, and Kelly Kulick, who just won the U.S. Women's Open, was in our field and finished just short of the match play round.
She told me, this condition, it made you think. It made me feel like a bowler, so I think we did okay with the conditioning.
And this was the Masters conditioning that brings about some of the lowest scores you see on tour?
This is the USBC Masters. This shot was actually used in the 2009 USBC Masters, and always when you have the US Open, the USBC Masters, any of those major type events, the scoring conditions are tougher, the scores are lower.
But it's a great examination. You might be teased if you're 15, 20 pins or 25 pins down. Like, I just missed it, but really it comes down to, do I get a 9 or an 8 on a first ball, and really converting the spares. There was a premium on that in this tournament.
Spares in any time there's a tough condition, Sean, always spares shooting is at a premium. You must make spares, just as I referred to Kelly Kulick a moment ago. She missed a couple of very makeable spares. She's not in the top 24.
And we take a look now at our Final Four, the matches that took place before we got to our finals. The first matchup was Ryan Schaefer from Horseheads, New York, the number 3 seed, go against Brad Angelo, the number 4 seed. And Ryan Schaefer got off to a great start with a couple of strikes right off the bat, but Brad Angelo responded with strikes in the second and third, and what was a pretty high-scoring match by what we had seen all week. Brad Angelo gets out of there with a 231-190 victory. When he got to the second match, Brad Angelo was matched up against Rick Graham from nearby Lancaster, Pennsylvania, about a 2-hour drive away. And Rick Graham was able to come away with a 226 game, one of his best games of the week. Brad Angelo bowls a 190, but that wasn't enough, as he was eliminated in third place. And we start off the final round of the 2012 Appletree Classic. Rick Graham will roll first. Scott Newell had the option and chose to have Rick go first.
Yeah, Scott was the number 1 seed. Rick seeded number 2. Let's see what he can do opening frame.
And an absolutely perfect shot to start. You've got to be happy with that.
Yeah, he has to be, because Scott said, okay, the onus on you. I'll put the pressure on you right out of the gate and see how you can respond. Now, of course, Scott has got to do some responding of himself. He'll start on the right lane.
And Newell with the best hair in the tournament out of Florida, a 14-hour drive up to Delaware for the weekend.
The Mohawk Man. They dubbed him the Mohawk Man at Mid-County.
And a little too up front, and he leaves himself with the 310, a bit of a split right off the bat.
Yeah, a little baby split. I would say the percentage of pickup for a pro is, very, very high. For the amateurs, maybe not so high, but you want to try to feed the ball right in between the 3 and the 10.
So you don't want to go to the left of that head pin of the 2. We want to go to the right?
Well, you try to feather it right in between. You can make it by going to the left, but feathering it between, just like that, that's a pro shot.
He knows clearly what he is doing and gets the spare, so a mark for both sides as we head to the second frame.
Well, he looked a little, I don't know whether he looked disgusted or not, but he's got to be very happy that he made a mark. You don't want to jump out of in the game, Sean, with your opponent striking and then you coming back with an open frame. So he'll get count here in the second frame off that spare in the first.
And Newell's first look at lane number 9. A little off to the right and leaves 3. So an 8 with the first ball and now a 7 here in the second.
Yeah, and he's got a little bit of a bucket problem there. There's Mike Hastings, the gentleman in the glasses. He is one of the tri-founders of the regional event coming to Mid-County, and He's been a tremendous supporter of this event ever since day one.
And had an outstanding tournament himself, just missing the top 24.
Yeah, I think, and he's got a championship. He has a PBA South Regional Championship, so Mike can bowl and just missed making it into the top 24.
Now Newell looking for the spare.
Covers it easily.
And gets it, so he'll start spare, and now Graham with a chance to maybe open up a lead here, building off that strike in the opening frame.
Yeah, you always want to try to double up, build a lead, get a little comfort zone, if you will. By the way, Graham has an opportunity. There are 10,000 reasons for him to want to win, but one of the other reasons, if he were to win this year's Appletree Classic, he would go to the top of the money list in the 4 years that Mid-County Lanes has held a regional tournament. He's banked about just under 2,000 the first 3 tournaments.
Can't quite bank the strike there, and he leaves 7, so we're seeing not a lot of 9s here, a lot of 7s and 8s.
That's exactly the same spare that was just made by Scott Newell. Speaking of no 9s, of course, our 9-pin no-tap Pro-Am sold out this year. A lot of juniors, a lot of adults, about a $4,000 prize fund for the adults. Scholarship money for the juniors. Just a tremendous event here this year at Mid-County Lanes for the Appletree Classic.
Rick Graham now looking for the spare and gets it comfortably. So he'll start strike spare right off the bat, a lead for Graham.
And he'll move over to lane 9, where it looked like on the first shot, Sean, that in practice, they have 15 minutes practice, all 4 of our finalists. Beforehand, he looked like he found something. Let's see if he indeed did find something on that left-hand lane.
He goes back, works the powder there. It's just to try to dry off his hand a little bit.
Yep, dry the hand just a little bit.
Graham hoping to have the hot hand here in frame number 3. Looks down at the ball and now heads towards the line.
Good-looking shot is,
a little off the head, and the messenger pin stops just a little short. So there's our first 9 of the match, and missed a opportunity there.
Yeah, on Friday night in the 9-pin no-tap Pro-Am, he would have received a strike for that, but the messenger, as you pointed out, did not get there in time. So Rick Graham will have an easy single-pin spare to make.
As tough as these lane conditions are, it's so vital you have to hit these single pins.
Absolutely.
And there's one right there.
Let's take a quick look at some of the other finishers here in the top 24. Number 24 was Ernie Lucas Jr. He was making his second appearance in match play in the 4 years of a regional at Mid-County. 23rd was Adam Monks up from South Carolina. He edged out Joe Ciccone by 3 pins for the final spot in match play. Here's Newell, runs a little high on the head pin and gets a tremendous break.
And he wipes the shirt. Why would you wipe your shirt off in that situation, off the strike?
I'm not exactly sure why he did that. Back to our other match play finalist in 22nd, Rob Gotterbarn Jr. from Garden City out on Long Island, making his first appearance in a regional here at Mid-County. Also, 21st, Tommy Takavanos from New Jersey. He was also making his first appearance at Mid-County Lanes.
So Newell now in the 4th frame, going off the strike on lane number 9. Looked pretty good, and just misses. 2 pins had a chance at the 7. They both slide away, missing the chance at the double.
It looked to me, Sean, like those 2 pins collided with each other and kept Newell from getting a strike.
So we're still waiting for the first back-to-back strikes of this match, but it looks like we're seeing a lot more success really from both bowlers on lane 9.
Yeah, lane 9 seems to be conforming more to what they're trying to do with the ball, and there's a pickup for the spare.
So Newell goes spare, strike, spare to start things out. And now we'll head back over to the seat, and we'll let Rick Graham come to the table.
And Rick picked up a little extra bonus money. He was the qualifying leader. That was Saturday's play, 8 games of qualifying, and as being the qualifying leader, he picked up a bonus of $500, which isn't too bad for, leading the entire field of qualifiers. 148. We had a full field of 150, but lost a couple at the last minute.
Graham goes to head pin and gets a lucky break himself, just sliding the 2 middle pins out of there.
And he knows it. Look, I don't know. He's slapping hands with everybody. Anybody in the audience.
There,
yep. Why not? Hey, if you get a break, sometimes, for being lucky is just as good as being good, and these bowlers are good. Take no doubt about it. But you get a lucky break, you try to capitalize on it.
Let's see if he can capitalize. He's on his good lane here, lane 9, where he has struck once in this match. Again, $5,000 more to the winner in this match as the ball goes down, and another strike, and that looked perfect.
Yeah, he's got number 9 down pretty well. We have a differential of $10,000 to the winner. Second place this year will be worth $5,400. The overall prize fund is going to be around $52,000. And you don't run into $52,000 regionals every day, every week in the on the PBA.
Newell here in the 5th. Looked pretty good, a little tight on the head.
Wow.
And again, a pin going for the one that can't quite tap it down.
Yeah, the messenger, that was a bad messenger. And he's probably got to be wondering right now, what do I got to do to get all 10 pins to go down?
Frustration here as he's seen Graham get a double. And now Newell needing this to at least try to keep the spare streak going.
No problem.
He hits it, so back-to-back spares for Newell, and we head to the 6th frame.
We had a tie for 19th place. Michael Marcus from Hawley, Pennsylvania. He's done well at Mid-County, finished second to David Canese in the inaugural regional here at Mid-County in 2009. And Marcus tying with Rusty Thompson from Morgan, New Jersey. Rusty also made the finals in 2009. He placed 17th, so he was just about at his peak here at Mid-County this year, but not quite.
Newell in the 6th frame. Off to the right, doesn't even hit the head pin and leaves a really challenging spare with 5 pins to go on the split. That looks very tough, and I imagine it's probably harder than it even looks.
Well, you got to try to send the ball over the left side of the head pin and get that head pin to kick back and take out the pins on the right side. Very, very difficult spare. Tough spare.
Pin count also could be very important here, too.
Absolutely. In a match like this, pin count is always important. So he tries to take that head pin over, just doesn't get it to work for him.
Yeah, he gets 3 of the 5, so he'll end up with 99 through 6 frames. But now here's Graham building off a double, and how big would a turkey be right now when your opponent's got an open and you're coming off 2 strikes and you already lead?
Well, absolutely. If he can throw another strike here, he would start to put a little bit of distance, a lot more distance, I should say, between him and Scott Newell. Let's see what he can do. This is not his favorite lane, of course, the 10.
Rolls it down right straight on the head pin. Almost leaves 6, just gets 1 more to go, but that is a very difficult 4-7-10 split coming.
Yeah, and he's going to have to try to slide it over and see if he can make a very difficult split, as you pointed out. This is the right lane. The number 10 is giving both of them some problems.
I mean, what can they possibly do to change this? Because there's only been 1 strike over there in this match. Rolls it down hard, just gets 1 straight on. That's pretty hard to do right there.
It's very hard to do, and here's the thing. The way this match is starting to play out, that 1 pin could be the difference, but how about the pin that he left next to it, the 7 pin? That could end up being the difference.
That was a 2-point pin because he was going off the strike, so he doesn't get that point in the 5th frame, and obviously doesn't get it in the 6th frame. So we're 112 to 99, both off of an open as we go to the 7th. So Graham with a 13-pin advantage, and we basically have a 4-pin or a 4-frame match. Graham to his favorite lane, lane number 9, here in frame 7. And that's a much better ball. Gets that 10 to trickle down, and a beautiful strike.
It'll be up to Scott Newell to respond. Scott's in a hole now, and he's got to try to start digging out of the hole. Finishing 18th, Tommy Golick. He's competed all 4 years here at Mid-County Lanes. He made it to the 3rd round of match play, the finals in 2010.
Newell here in the 7th. Straight onto the head pin again and again, leaving 7. That's been a pretty popular number for him in this match.
Yeah, he runs a little high. We're going to take a second here and just identify some of the other top 24 finishers. 17th, Rob Hoffman from Freehold, New Jersey, making his debut at Mid-County Lanes. 16th, Adam Baer from Gettysburg, scored a little better in the second half of the 12 games of match play to move up in the standings. And at 15th, Doug Kent. We'll talk about Doug in just a moment.
Newell looking for the 3 pins, throws it down the lane and gets the 3 pins. That was a bit of a different ball there as he ended up throwing it down.
He actually lofted that. Well, that would be his spare ball, but he actually lofted it. He didn't want it to do early hooking in the front part of the lane. Doug Kent adding some national touric luster to this year's Appletree Classic. 10 national titles, including a pair of Masters, a pair of World Bowling Championship wins. He had a chance to compete with his son this year, Jacob. And Jacob, he picked up a check for finishing 44th.
And we just mentioned that Scott Newell there, maybe with a different spare ball. Now he has gone to his bag, and he has a new ball here for lane 9 as we play in the 8th frame. And the new red ball leaves 6, so maybe that wasn't the right thing either.
Again, a little bit of an overreaction. I don't think it's coming off his hand, Sean, as cleanly as he would like to have it. And both lanes actually are giving Scott a lot of trouble. Right now, Rick Graham, he's in the driver's seat. Let's see how this spare can be made by Newell.
A 4-pin spare here, and an absolutely must-have as he trails in this match. Throws it down and gets it. That's a beautiful spare.
It's not as easy as it looks. It really isn't. And he does stay in the match. Now, this is a key shot coming up for Rick Graham. He's on a strike. He's in the 8th frame.
But he's on his tough lane. He's on lane 10.
Yeah, he hasn't had success on lane 10. Well, neither one of them's had a lot of success on lane 10.
His last time on this lane, he left a split. The 4-7-10, he doesn't want any part of that here in the 8th frame. From Lancaster, Pennsylvania, Rick Graham to the line. Off to the right, just hits the head pin, and maybe an even trickier spare left here. Another split.
I think both of them want an investigation on of what's happening on lane 10. More top 24 finishers. 14th place, PJ Sunday, his best finish at Mid-County. 13th, Sam Macarone, the veteran. Solid tournament, picked up a little extra money by being the top senior bowler in the qualifying round. He got $250 extra. And Jeremy Elder from Claymont, his 3rd regional at Mid-County. He's been in the finals before.
And great to see a Delaware player in the top 24.
Absolutely, that helps the crowd.
Graham going for the split, can't get it, gets 3 though. So now Newell with the wide open window here to make that comeback as Graham is in big trouble.
Yeah, Graham with 140, that's complete through 8. Let's see what he can do back on his good lane. He likes lane 9. We're in the 9th frame.
His last potential ball here if he can get the strike. So really a strike would be massive here because he's going to have to play the 10th frame on that challenging 10th lane.
Well, it's been a challenge for not only Rick Graham, but it's been a challenge for Scott Newell as well.
Couple of deep breaths for Graham and rolls it down. Off to the right again. Can't quite get the 2 to go.
Well, he's left himself an easy spare. Won't have any trouble picking up the spare, but he's also left the door open for Scott Newell. Let's see what, Newell will be coming up here in a moment.
Well, first Graham has to get this single pin. Can't have back-to-back opens. Bad enough he's had 2 in the last 3 frames.
Now, Rick's not going to, he won't miss the single pin. He's enough of a pro that single pin spares don't bother him. Every once in a while, a pro will have a problem. To me, generally, when they have a problem, it's in their head. More top 24 finishers. In an 11th spot, James Wallace, making his first start at Mid-County in a regional. 9-3 in match play, and he moved up from 22nd place when he started match play, so he made a big jump. Number 10, Stephen Earhart. And what a change a year made for Earhart. I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a moment. Here is Scott Newell, big shot, 9th frame, all crosses over, and
Brooklyn!
What a break.
Brooklyn in the 9th!
What a break. And now, of course, the thing is for him to try to capitalize on just a huge break. By the way, without even taking another look at Stephen Earhart, he finished way out of the money last year. He was 122nd in a field of 170.
It's a nice improvement. Nice improvement.
Does a little bit better this year, finishes in the number 10 spot. That's a lot more money. As a matter of fact, at 122nd last year, he didn't get anything. He didn't get anything.
Well, now here's a money shot for Scott Newell. 10th frame, 9th lane. Can he make it 2 straight strikes?
Oh, that's a good-looking ball.
Beautiful, and it knocks him down. The double for Newell, his first of the match. Couldn't have come at a better time.
Now he's really, well, he's put himself in a position to basically, if he strikes here, he'll be in position to basically close the game out against Rick Graham, who looked to have this thing won not once but twice.
A strike and 5 is all it's going to take for Newell to win this match. But first he needs the strike. Second ball, 10th frame. Looks good and is good. Gets the 2 pins to go down. All those messengers missed, but they connected there.
And he knew he threw a good shot. He was running it out. Generally, when a bowler is in a pressure situation and he's running it out, he knows that he's made a good shot. All he wants to do now is have the ball finish the way it should, and it did.
Again, all he needs is 5 to go, and he'll win the match in the Appletree Classic, his first title here in Delaware.
And he's going to have a re-rack here. We'll get to some of our other our top 24 performers, our other match play performers in just a moment. But basically, Scott Newell, he has won the 2012 Appletree Classic Championship, and he has defeated Rick Graham. He needs good pin count here. We get a little fuzzy. That's okay.
A good look at our crowd and our good friend Bud Keegan, who took a lot of the great pictures that's on our website.
Absolutely. Not only on the website, but he took all the headshots of our top 24 performers.
I'm just glad he didn't take a headshot of me.
Well, at least you have some hair on the top of your head. I don't have that.
Again, we want to thank Appletree Answering Systems for sponsoring the
Appletree
tournament.
Answering Service. Great story about John Ratliff, who got it started in '95 and is now, well, he's just all over the country.
There's 9, and there's a win. Scott Newell is going to be your 2012 Appletree Classic champion.
And let's finish out the top 24 before Rick Graham throws his first ball here in the final frame. John Fury from East Windsor, New Jersey, finished in 9th place. John Zerbinski from North Tonawanda, New York, in the 8th spot. Here's Rick Graham.
And the House of Horrors continues on lane 10.
Nobody doing well on lane 10. Up from Greenville, South Carolina. Remember, it was Dick Allen from South Carolina winning last year. Lee Vanderhoff. I remember Lee when he was a teen living in Delaware. He had a very good match play round, 9-3. In 6th place, Chris Monroe from Holden, Massachusetts. He's a lawyer. That's what he does for full-time employment. He's a lawyer. And unfortunately, Rick Graham, he knew he had lost the match, only able to get one shot down. And then the number 5 finisher is Bill O'Neill. Bill with a losing win-loss record in match play, but he had only one game under 200 in the 12 games of match play. That was a 183 in Game 11, and it basically cost him a spot in the Final Four. But there you get a look at our 2 top finishers on the right side. Now the crowd is going to get into it a little bit. But there's Scott Newell on the right. He is our champion, 2012 Appletree Classic here at Mid-County Lanes.
After the match, I had a chance to talk to Newell. Scott, these must have been really difficult lane conditions, a tough scoring championship there.
Yes, it was. That title match was really ugly. I used my practice session to throw a urethane ball to sort of tighten up the break point for everybody. I thought it would help me in the end from where I was playing the lanes compared to the other guys, but it ended up making it ugly for everybody. So luckily I just kind of grinded and got a break there and took advantage.
How do you handle, obviously, you see scores 250s, 260s in the pool play, and then when you get to the championship match and it's a bunch of spares, how do you handle maybe the stress of not getting strikes?
It's a matter of watching your opponent, seeing what your opponent's doing. If your opponent's not striking a whole lot either, then it's, you can just kind of relax and just try to make the best shot you possibly can and just understand that the scoring pace is lower and do what you can with it. All you got to do is outscore your opponent. You don't have to bowl a 250. So.
Now, you came all the way up from Florida. Talk about that kind of trip and how important it is for a professional bowler to make those kind of trips.
I love it. I enjoy it very much. I like to travel on the weekends. I can go back home, spend some time with my family during the week, and it is quite a drive. Fortunately, I have a buddy of mine. We travel a lot together, so the camaraderie and the friendship kind of makes it go by a little better and a little more fun.
So what is it like when you roll that last ball and then you've got the victory?
A sigh of relief. Thank you very much. It's a great, exhilarating feeling. I mean, as a bowler, we live for the moments when you got to step up and get it done. And fortunately today, that went my way.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
And before we leave you, we'd like to salute the winners of the 2012 Appletree Classic Pro-Am competition. The adult Pro-Am winner was D.J. Morgan, who pocketed $500 for his winning score of 918. Remember, that's a 9-pin no-tap score with handicap included. In the junior Pro-Am competition, the scratch division winner, Olivia Laird. Olivia bowling a 9-pin no-tap 300 game in her final game, 810 her grand total, and she wins a $200 scholarship. The 170 and up handicap division champion, Tiana Tapia, young lady that came out of North Carolina to participate in the event. She picks up a $200 scholarship as well. The 110 to 169 handicap division, Brian Virgil. Brian's winning score, 747, $200 scholarship for Brian. And the trophy division, no scholarship involved, but a nice trophy. And there you can see little Rashawn Lamons, who's going to become quite a bowler, already quite a bowler at a young age. He is the winner in the trophy division. For Sean Green, this is Len Holmquist. We hope you've enjoyed our coverage of the 2012 Appletree Classic. And don't forget, the 2013 Appletree Classic will return thanks to the fine sponsorship of Appletree Answering Service.